Good afternoon. Starting early for a reason. Yes. Starting early for a reason, because I'm going to let the 10 to 15 minutes it takes to everybody to get notified. So that's why I'm starting early. Going to give people a chance that don't get their notifications right away. So here we go. It's a good one. I'm eating pasta visual soup. Nothing like Italian meal. Some olives. Today I pissed. Wait, what? Hey, Mama 3, what's up? Whoop, whoop. Okay. Again, I started this early so I can give people a chance to get in chat love. Quit smacking. Muffy, what's up? This episode is worthy of a Lifetime original, so it got the title. This episode will be the last that you ever hear or see a video by myself of Debris. Just like I did the Mandy farewell DMs, last of her. I did a last of KK with the Lifetime original for the July edition. And now it is complete and the Lifetime original for Debris is ready. Oh, stretch. So, again, just giving people time to get in chat love. Get in chat love. Because this is just, woo, is it a humdinger? It's a go-getter. Need some Java Monster for this day. Get in chat love. Be kind in chat love. All right. And I got some house cleaning that I want to take care of. So, first of all, this is the receipt of a lifetime. Mic drop and Mama, you need some public hi. Then you can super chat me. Oh, just kidding. But yeah, no, on a serious note, some house cleaning. Ludovica Bibiani contacted me today. And yep, she slid in my DMs with her Ludovica account. Because like I said, she has multiple. She said, "Dear Lana, Ludacris still loves you and wishes we could talk so I could explain some things. Congrats on the wedding. I'd like to come crash it, participate in the fun. Just you wait till you see me in my skin-toned gown. I will win the stripper scavenger hunt. Perhaps the wrestling, but I'll only let you get a cheap feel. Then she called me. Then she proceeded to say, I said it, I said, and I stand on it. I know what this will look like in screenshots, and it might tip someone's chair. Don't you dare show this to the comfy chair. But all bets are off. I broke trust, but I wish you would talk to me so I can explain it right. Now, again, my response. What do you want? I want you to cough up Rocket Man, and maybe I'll hear you out. Then I blocked her. So for all of you guys out there questioning Ludovic Viviani, I think this is very self-explanatory that Ludacris is thirsty as ever, and and she's clearly not too concerned about me outing her in any way, shape, or form. She's not scared of me blackmailing her or her porn, and she wants to let me know that she still loves me. And these are all the people that Natasha Cooper puts on her panel. And Natasha Cooper runs the Cuckoo's Nest. And these are all the kooks. So the love, I've always said, has been really deep for Shazam, Luda's love. Jealous. Of losing me back in the day to the likes of Allie. But you just can't make this stuff up, guys. You just can't do it. So yeah, there was a Luda spotting today at 12:09 p.m. 6 messages, all manic. But in between that, she tried to call me. And well, cheers, Luda. There's just nothing to say. There's no words to describe this behavior. It's just, oh my God. Anyways, so that's your TMZ on what Luda's been up to. Now, I want to clear something up about Nina. Nina has not been working with Debris. Okay. Nina was actually getting harassed by Debris. I mean, who isn't getting harassed by that woman? But we're going to get into everything Nina tomorrow. Today is a very special day, and we're going to keep it special. But I want Nina, because I know she's watching. They all watch. And I think that you're going to be pleasantly pleased with what you see here today, as well as what you see and hear tomorrow. So that's your Neen Bean Ween for right now. Like I said, today's a very special day, and we cannot take away from Debris. Those of you guys that don't know where Debris came from, it's slang for debris, and it was coined by myself and 2 others by accident, but on purpose. I think everybody knows what debris is. And when Debris signed up for Fight for a Family, I was in my Excel, typing things in for the names. And when you put in DeBoer, it's an autocorrect to Debris. And it just stuck ever since because it's perfect. That's where it came from. And it will forever be her name. I know that nobody refers to her as anything other than Debris, and that should be the way it should be. Today, again, I was just trying to stall for some time here so that the notifications could properly get out to the people, as YouTube gave me a tutorial on that. Normally, notifications take 10 to 20 minutes to hit all of your circle. And so I don't want any of those haters to possibly miss out on typing and hating. Your update on Natasha Cooper is one sentence. Just inside and out, God will handle that woman. And so will Lana. But I think it's more fun for me to keep discrediting her panel hoppers. So I'll just keep on doing that. Now, those of you guys that don't know, Miss Debris has a channel. She's an owner of true crime channel, Trauma and True Crime. Today, this is her final send-off. So Debris, we are giving you a lifetime original, just like we did for KK. Debris became obsessed with myself, my channel, my objective, my business entities, my family, beginning January of 2021. No idea who this person was, nothing, don't know them. Never met them, never will meet them. Unless she reaches out because she needs help from Fight for a Family. But those of you guys that had the opportunity before stuff was deleted or removed due to community standards, you would have seen that Debris defamed my name, my family, my business entities, and her experiences with Fight for a Family. All of her BS, I've been able to overcome, just like the rest of the creators making up stuff. But today is the ultimate receipt of a lifetime. There's only so many times in life that you will be like literally gifted something so amazing that you first double check the authenticity of a lot of things. You make sure it's as perfect as you think. And when it is, you then proceed with the chlorophyll. So that's what we're going to do here today is Debris basically is going to discredit Debris in her own words, completely her own words. Again, this has been months and months and months and months of a woman that in the title it says uncovering unhinged. I mean, you just shake your head, to be honest. But I was fortunate enough to come into the hands and across a podcast titled, wait for it, Mental Illness Happy Hour. That is why I moved up my live from 8 or 9 o'clock to this perfect happy hour time. Again, I came across a podcast titled Mental Illness Happy Hour. This podcast featured an episode titled Number 256, Lynn Fox, Mom with BPD. The release date, December 18th, 2015. Now, I was not surprised one bit by the content in it. Now, a bunch of you guys are going to be overly surprised, but I was not. In fact, it solidified everything that I've ever come to believe and know about Debris. This solidifies it. So, yes, it is really titled Mental Illness Happy Hour. So today I'm going to be sharing with all of you guys for the very first time this podcast in its entirety with a foreword by me. So at different times I will be pausing to break up different things that are going on at the moment, and to be refreshing all of your guys' memories of things that she has done or said as it pertains to me and others. Again, this was first released December 18th, 2015. You guys are all hearing it for the first time. This is the receipt of a lifetime. When I say that, literally, can't get any better than this. Debris has had a hard-on for me and my family since January, and it has only grown. Well, today, it is my final pop on that hard-on. It is my farewell to her or her subs, anybody that follows her, and any of the panels that she has been on. I'm going to let discredit Debris, sprinkling on the miss. So cheers to everybody. I want to thank you guys for being here because I know you guys have a lot of things going on in your lives, and to be here, giving me your time. Kudos. Cheers to you guys. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started again. Yeah, smash up. Love it. Hello to everybody in chat. Love. Be kind. Okay, this is because throughout it, I'm going to make numerous statements. But the biggest statement that I'm going to start off with is mental illness, whether you have it, whether you don't, whether you pretend, whatever the case may be. It doesn't give you the right to, quote unquote, not be held accountable for your actions, for your words, for anything like that. And so, yeah, let's get started. Again, all are welcomed here. Be kind and chat, love. Here we go.
Welcome to episode 256 with my guest, Lynn Fox. I'm Paul Gilmartin. This is the Mental Illness Happy Hour, a place for honesty about all the battles in our heads, from medically diagnosed conditions, past traumas, and sexual dysfunction, to everyday compulsive negative thinking. This show's not meant to be a substitute for professional mental counseling. I am not a therapist. It is not a doctor's office. It is more like a waiting room that doesn't suck. Very badly appointed. Let me assure you of that. The decor in this waiting room is lacking. Give me a moment as I extricate myself from that 5-second wait.
Okay, as it's trying to catch up to where I'm going. Episode 256, Lynn Fox, Mom with BPD. This Lynn Fox is none other than Debris. Here we go. Be kind and chat love. 2015, December 18th, a week before Christmas.
Welcome to episode 256 with my guest Lynn Fox. I'm Paul Gilmartin. This is the Mental Illness Happy Hour, a place for honesty about all the battles in our heads, from medically diagnosed conditions, past traumas, and sexual dysfunction, to everyday compulsive negative thinking. This show's not meant to be a substitute for professional mental counseling. I am not a therapist. It is not a doctor's office. It is more like a waiting room that doesn't suck. Very badly appointed. Let me assure you of that. The decor in this waiting room is lacking. Give me a moment as I extricate myself from that 5-second waste of both of our times. Before I do a couple of surveys, I wanted to preface this week's episode. Lynn and I talk about borderline personality disorder quite a bit in this episode. And I just want to reinforce, what I said before, that neither Lynn nor I are therapists. And when we talk about it, we're giving our opinion. And I'm sure a mental health professional listening to us talk about it would find examples where they would maybe use slightly different language to express something. So don't take everything we say as the gospel truth, because these issues are certainly complex. Oh, and there was one thing, as I was editing the episode, we used the word, I think Lynn used the phrase recovering from borderline personality disorder. And I think what she was trying to say was learning to manage it, because personality disorders cannot be, what's the word? They don't disappear, but they can be managed. All right. Now that I got that out of the way, let's read a couple of surveys. This is the Struggle in a Sentence survey filled out by a woman who calls herself Moki, and about experiencing racial or cultural bias. She writes, "It's like watching an episode that you've seen multiple times, but there's nothing to turn."
So what Mark is doing here is he's doing his housekeeping in his podcast here. So Miss Lynn Fox takes over the podcast here at the 5-minute mark. This is again, this is from 2015, December 18th, 2015. And it is imperative to understand that it's 2021 right now, guys, 2021. So do simple math. And how many years have gone by? You just got to compare what's been going on for the past 6 months or longer to, actually longer than that, probably 8 months, to 2015. Here we go.
Somebody does what I've been doing.
Your shame.
You have boundary issues.
I feel guilty for hating my mom.
I will be high by 4 p.m.
You feel hopeless.
I will be in hell by 4:15.
Prison is not easy, but I deserved it.
I think I'm just addicted to lying.
I rubbed my body in mud and I laid in the swamp. Didn't move for 6 hours.
I looked forward to and dreaded each meal at the same time.
I think I
Thanks, Muffy.
desperately wanted to talk about it, but I didn't know how to start the conversation.
And that's what I call the suicide hotline.
A good Craigslist experience is if you are alive at the end of it. So
that is when I first felt love. Like I first felt
Reaching out to the people and sharing with the other people.
this intimate connection where
It's okay,
people
Taylor,
do
you can
stuff
take a
for
look
each
at it.
other without wanting something in return.
Yeah, I surrender.
I think I was 28, and that was the first time I ever experienced that, and it was amazing.
I'm here with Lynn Fox, who is a PR person. She has a podcast called Tech Cares, where you interview people in the tech community and finding out what their passion is to make the world a slightly better place.
Get to know people through get to know people in tech through their causes.
There we go. We actually recorded a previous episode with you, and then you called me or emailed me and said, would you mind recording again? Because I think I've had a breakthrough about something that I struggle with. I think I might have borderline personality disorder.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been diagnosed.
Actually, it has now.
Oh, it has now. Okay. It hadn't been when we
It's
when we
official.
talked.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk about this because I think it's an oft maligned, misunderstood, burdensome, complicated,
Yeah.
disorder.
Spectral. I mean, it's
Yeah.
multi-dimensional, and it, as is practically any mental illness.
It's also known as emotional dysregulation disorder. Tell the listeners what the hallmarks of borderline personality disorder are.
The hallmarks, and these are not the DSM definitions. These are just the hallmarks are that you are emotionally dysregulated. You have very difficult time regulating your emotions. You're either and you're very, very, very sensitive. It's as if you were born as a third-degree burn victim inside, and you don't have like that protective sheath. So
feel things very, very intensely.
Very intensely, and stress is high stress is not good. It tends to get developed through childhood trauma, or through ongoing abuse,
abandonment,
neglect.
Not necessarily physical abandonment, but emotional abandonment. You're not seen, heard, felt.
Exactly.
You're treated
exactly
as if you don't matter.
So there's this pervasive neediness and just stark fear of abandonment, along with this inability to have real intimacy. There are
a fear of intimacy. Is that a part of it as well?
Yes.
A neediness, but also with it, you're starting to get close. Get the fuck away from me, because you're going to hurt me again. Oh, look, you did hurt me again.
Yeah. Exactly. There's a great book written by a woman called I Hate You, Don't Leave Me.
Yeah.
And it's almost like my memoir. It's it's like I need you, but when I have you, I hate you. It's just this, and I don't understand why. Pervasive feelings of shame and not being enough and never being okay. Pervasive. There tends to be a lot of self-harm, whether it's directly or indirectly through cutting or through eating disorders or substance abuse. There can be with young women, there's a lot of promiscuity. There's the inability to really understand who the self is versus another person. The
difficulty with boundaries, respecting boundaries, and having boundaries.
Understanding the difference between my feelings and your feelings, projecting. I've spent so much of my life thinking that everybody feels exactly the same way I feel, and then being so sorely disappointed that it becomes clear to me that somebody doesn't love me as much as I love them, and I just go and suck my thumb in the corner, and it's just, and thinking all my life that I just grew up defective this way, that I'm just defective, that there's something wrong with me, but that I'm now just learning that this was like
this is a thing.
This was like actually I was dosed with this poison called childhood trauma and sex abuse that causes mental illness to pop up when you don't treat it. Who knew, right?
Who knew?
So
another hallmark of it too is people with borderline personality are also often highly manipulative.
Yeah. What?
You want to try to spin that? Spin that to make you look better?
Well, I've been doing PR for over 20 years.
Is that a hard one?
Manipulative? What are you talking about?
I don't have borderline personality, and I'm highly manipulative. So this is.
How
I
do
am
you
not
know
judging.
you don't have borderline personality? I'm kidding.
That's true.
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Is that a hard thing when you look at the hallmarks of what are involved with borderline personality disorder? Is it painful sometimes to go, oh my God, I can be highly manipulative. I can be.
The manipulative thing actually is more part of narcissism than borderline. But yes, it's definitely there with borderline. I'm not saying that I have not tried to be manipulative at all. It is this need to control, to feel control over your environment, my environment. Yeah.
Including people.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So anyway, it's definitely hard to look at the definition and read the books and then compare to my life and say, yep, that's me. But I mean, just when I look at how I have felt all my life and the actual like physical and logistical and whatever circumstances of my life, it's all there. When I tell, like, I've started to tell close friends, I just realized I have, I'm in therapy for borderline personality disorder. They're like, well, that explains a lot.
Does that feel good or bad?
It feels good, actually.
Yeah.
It does. Because they know me, and there are people listening who are like, oh yeah, that time she snapped at me, and I held a grudge against her for years, and at work, because I was after I had kids, I had a really hard time holding it together, holding in my rage.
How could you not? If you feel like a burn victim on the inside and stress hurts. Good luck being a parent.
Well, not only that, a parent, and then I was in these really highly pressure cooker situations in my career. I mean, like, I was working in really intense atmospheres.
You did PR for Apple.
I did PR for Apple, Google, Palm, Twitter, Lucasfilm, DirecTV, and I've done independent consulting for the Wall Street Journal, Pebble, now my little company got acquired by a firm that does marketing and PR, and so and now I'm working with lots of different clients, and so I've had this awesome high pressure career.
And it sounds like there's also, from what I understand, from what I've read about people with borderline personality disorder, there are also some gifts to it. Is that you can be extremely passionate, a real people person. It's just this roller coaster.
I think there's a big part of me that's very charismatic and can be very convincing. And I'm in PR. My job is to convince reporters and influencers to agree with my assessment of my client's product and company, and then write about it in that way. And think and write about. So I'm supposed to help these people how to think about another thing, right? So it's my job to get into how the way I can connect their interest with my client's interest.
Have you ever felt when you are doing it? I was just thinking about the relationship between you doing that in your personal life for yourself, with you as your product, and you in your professional life with another product. Have you ever felt as triggered or whatever, as roller coastery in your work life about a product as you have about somebody not accepting you as a person.
Well, not necessarily about not accepting the product, but not accepting my pitch of the product, or not.
So you make yourself.
Yes,
kind of like you take it personally.
I have, yeah, and I don't anymore. Like I've grown. A lot of the, these disorders are, on a spectrum, and they're multidimensional, and you can recover from them. And
what do you mean when you say multidimensional?
Meaning like every person experiences different symptoms on different, in different volumes and dimensions, and everybody's disorder is very complex and has different features to it, and so is mine. And I've recovered from a lot of things. Like I used to be a lot more sensitive about the way the industry viewed me, and and how I don't know, I have a much healthier view of the way other people think about me. I don't need as much for people to think a certain way about me. So, but I have been in that place where I needed people to think a certain way about me, and then it enraged me when I found out that they didn't. And I have friends who I've called up, and I'm like, how dare that girl tweet that thing at me? And it's like, what the fuck? Who gives a shit?
A lot of drama.
A lot of drama. Yeah. A lot of drama that I feel really bad about. And like, in the middle of the drama, I'm like, oh my God, this is not the person I want to be. I'm not this person.
But the feelings are so intense. It's like the person that needs a drink. It's like, I know I shouldn't be drinking, but God damn it, it's the only thing that and I was put this fire out right now. I was there, sitting there, 18 years old, like drinking like my 24th beer of the night, going, how am I going to stop drinking? I don't know how to stop drinking. I mean, that was it. That was me. So you self-medicated for a while. Is there still a hair on the microphone? It's okay. It's like entertaining. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I started self-medicating at 12. Well, I started self-medicating from the moment I self-medicated with food from the moment I remember, as early as I can remember. Do you still medicate with food? Yes, but not as frequently. Not as all of my disordered behavior around my condition or whatever it is, it's very, very contained. Like I have a much better handle on it than I ever had. It's just, I just have to balance my life very well. I have to keep things balanced. So you're going to find out where your triggers are. I need to, that's what I'm in the process of trying to understand now, is where do the triggers come? And I know more now than I ever did, but it's still a learning process. So what are the triggers? A stressful environment? Yeah, stress, out of control, not feeling safe, feeling like I'm responsible for everything. The world is on my shoulders. I have very high standards for my work and for myself, and if I'm not meeting those standards, I get very, very disappointed in myself, and then I think everybody else is disappointed in me. And yeah, and I mean, I think I'm just going through a time right now where I'm going through the very, very revealing points in my therapy and uncovering a lot of stuff, and I'm very raw. And I've always been raw anyway, and now I'm even more raw than before. Is there anything you'd like to share? Well, yeah, I mean, maybe what I'll do is just like share a little bit of my background, and because just to give context, because then it'll help connect why things are unraveling as they are right now. Mm-hmm. So I grew up here in LA, and my parents were very, very young when they got married and together, and had me very young. And my brother, I have a brother who's 2.5 years older than me. And then my parents got divorced when I was 6 months old, or they separated when I was 6 months old. Part of the time my mom was pregnant, my father was in jail for selling drugs and doing other very bad things. And you don't want to say what the other things were?
I just recently learned what they are. So he was a pimp, and he was making porn, and he was selling drugs, and he was doing anything he could to objectify and sell other people, basically. He was what I would call human trafficking, really. So so during this time, like, so he went to jail, and while he was in jail, my Christian fundamentalist family decided to tell everybody that he was in seminary school, and when he came back, he was going to run the church. So this is somebody who has already at this point taken naked pictures of my mother and shown them to his friends.
That's exactly what she did.
And taken naked pictures of other women and children and distributed them and sold them. And he's like, I don't know. He's like and then used Scientology as a cover for it all, as a reason for it all. So
how did he use Scientology as a cover for it?
I don't know exactly, but at a certain point, like when our relationship was very off and on, after my parents got divorced, we only saw each other from the time I was like 6 months to about 12, like maybe 20 times. And then we reunited when I was 18, and we ended up in a car together alone, which is not really where I wanted to be, because I had just remembered all the sex abuse, and now I was like stuck in a car with him, and he brought up the sex abuse and started telling me what he did to me, and started telling me like it was like he was kind of getting off on like he seeing me squirm as we talked about the sex abuse. And while he was talking about it, he explained that he learned in Scientology, that he was part of the church, and that he learned in Scientology that we were married in a previous life. So it was only natural for him to have these feelings toward me, and that he just was in love with me. And that when I was a girl, I never resisted. And so because I never resisted, I consented.
He said that?
Yes.
And what did you think and feel when he was saying those things?
I wanted to kill him at that moment, because I had just gotten out of rehab. Yeah.
I'm sorry to laugh.
Is that an awful moment? No, I'm kidding.
It is. It is. Because, one of the things with people when they leave rehab, that you always tell them is there are going to be triggers out there.
Yeah.
And you got the largest trigger anybody could probably.
It was so weird, because just before my mom threw me in that rehab, she threw me in when I was 18 because I was out of control. Let me tell you, I had been arrested a couple times, one time for murder. I didn't do it, but I was with a guy in a car who had murdered somebody for that car, and came and picked me and my friends up, was driving around with us, and then we all got picked up. And
did you call it the murder mobile?
It was an Oldsmobile. So.
It's a 1968 Dodge Murder Mobile.
No, it was a 1988 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme.
It's a nice car.
It was a nice car. It was white with leather interior.
He wasn't going to murder for an AMC Pacer.
Exactly. But this guy murdered a homosexual man in Malibu in cold blood, and then came and picked us up. We knew him from high school, and took us out. And I was 16, and we get pulled over and brought into Carson jail. And then the cop tells me that I'm being arrested for murder 1. So that was a little bit shocking. So
wow.
So I was my high school years, like I had started smoking weed at 12 and drinking like at 14. And by the time senior year came around, I was completely out of control. It's amazing that I even graduated from college, or I'm sorry, high school. And my mom put me in rehab. Right before that happened, I was drunk one night, and I had these flashbacks of my dad abusing me that I hadn't remembered for a really long time. So it was like very weird that I had those flashbacks, and then I went into rehab.
Every kid in high school drinks and smokes weed. Their parents aren't throwing them in rehab.
I didn't believe it was real. I was like, I'm having these flashbacks, but I don't know if it's real. And they were like, no, that's real. A 6-year-old little girl doesn't just come up with those things. And then as I've, progressed so then I was in rehab for 45 days, and then I went into a House of Hope halfway house for another 90 days, and I clawed my way back into civilization. And then my dad decided to take us we ended up bumping into my dad for the first time in many years, and it was really weird. And he wanted to take us skiing. We went skiing, and I, under some unfortunate circumstances, I ended up in the car with him, where he decided that he was going to tell me how he abused me and how he was going to make it all better and okay, and that he had no problem with it.
He was going to make it all better, but he had no problem with what he did.
He was going to, if he had been in my life, if my mother would have allowed him to be in my life, he would have been able to teach me that it was okay for us to do those things with each other.
I'm so sorry that you had to experience that.
Thank you.
I am so sorry. That is so fucked up.
And then he did it to my cousins. And and countless, I don't know how many other people. And then I don't know how this became instilled in me, but I have always just felt shame. I just feel this kind of awe, just this complete and total shame all the time, and that everything that ever happens is my fault.
I have not met a sex abuse survivor that does not say that exact same thing or feel that exact same thing. And I second guess
every single fucking thing I do. It's
exhausting.
It's exhausting, and it's like, and now I'm learning the actual biological, neurological effect that trauma like this has on a person, and I'm fucking pissed. I just didn't know. I'm not. Exactly. I'm just allowing myself to feel this anger because I've never allowed myself to feel this anger before.
Doesn't it affect the thickness of the frontal cortex of the brain, which has to do with judgment?
Yeah, it affects the
emotional regulation.
It affects. Yes, it affects. There are severe cognitive effects of childhood trauma, of any sort of trauma. Functioning, that thing that says, remember, you need to do this, this, and this. Very little ability to plan.
A lot of impulsivity.
A lack of impulse control, lack of ability to regulate emotion without some sort of medicinal aid. It's debilitating. And I've just always gone along thinking that I'm going to address the symptoms being drinking alcohol or doing drugs or having eating disorders,
putting band-aids on it instead of cleaning out the wound.
Exactly. So I feel very, very relieved now to have this. There's absolutely no question in my mind of what I have, and that I can recover from this. It's just disappointing that there is so much stigma about mental illness, that it's taken this long for me to get to this place of understanding,
Are you comfortable sharing what we talked about in our previous conversation?
Yes, of course. Which part?
The conversation you and I had a half hour ago.
Yeah.
The thing that you just remembered.
Yes. Yes, I think.
I
Yes,
just
I'm
thought it was
comfortable to asking. I'm comfortable talking about anything, but just remind me what I was saying.
about a babysitter.
Oh, sure. I'll talk about that.
I just thought it was interesting that
Yeah.
that had never even occurred to you.
Yeah.
And because I get a lot of people that bury something or don't give weight to it, and all of a sudden the subject comes up and they'll be like, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
that happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of like to hear.
Well, without going into too much detail, yeah, there was one babysitter that I had a couple times that I would say it was between the ages of like 5 and maybe 9, who whenever she babysat, she wanted to, like, I guess you would call it bump uglies now. Like she wanted to kind of simulate sex. She was probably about 6 or 7 years older than me. And I guess if I were like filling out your survey that said, were you ever sexually abused?
Some stuff happened, but
Some stuff happened, but I don't know if it counts. That's the kind of thing that, I feel like happens a lot, but I do think it's interesting that...
was it because your clothes were on that you weren't sure that if it counts?
No,
I'm assuming your clothes were on.
Not every time.
Then why wouldn't you think that would be sexual abuse?
No, who's laughing?
Because it happened to you.
Yeah, exactly. Because it happened to me, so I deserved it, and I must have been asking for it, and you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
Right before our eyes, we are seeing some stuff happen, but I don't know if it counts moment.
Yep.
You're laughing.
Isn't that incredible?
It is incredible. It really, really is, and it's really, yeah, and I feel like I don't know if I am a sex abuse magnet or something, but I think
How are you laughing about
I
this?
have had more instances than I care to count where somebody was touching me and I felt sick. Where I was being touched and I didn't want to be touched, and I put myself in a lot of situations. We've talked about like just this impulse control. Just I was listening to a YouTube the other day about early signs of borderline personality disorder in kids. I had every single one of them. Just my feelings were always hurt. I was always crying. And
were you blamed for being a drama queen?
Yes, I was a drama queen.
Which is the worst thing you can do to a kid. Is basically say, not only are your feelings not valid, they annoy me.
Right.
That is horrible.
Yeah, so I would stay home from school, and I had this awesome dog, Coco, who I would faint in front of so that she would come save me. And I would sing. I have entire albums memorized, like Barbra Streisand albums, and A Star Is Born, and I would sing for my dog Coco, and I'd like perform. Sometimes when my mom would come home, like I was a latchkey kid, and my mom would come home at like 7 and sit down on the couch and knit, my poor mom, who was a single mom. Oh, poor thing. Anyway, and then she'd come home and I'd come out into the living room and then faint on the floor. Oh, mother, I'm dying. And she'd be like, okay, not again. So then when I get, put in the slammer for murder, and I call her at 4:00 in the morning, she actually said, Lynn, I'm not up for your jokes. I'm not up for your jokes right now. Yeah.
As you were describing this little girl that was just dying to be seen and heard, I was thinking, if you could get in a time machine and you could go back and you could spend time with her, what would you do and what would you say to her?
Oh my gosh. I would just hug her and tell her she is so amazing and awesome, and that anyone ever has to make her believe otherwise. And that's what I do with my kids every day, because life can be hard on kids. You know, it's like you're in this world and you haven't seen the big world yet. So, you know, things.
And school is fucking brutal.
School's brutal, and my kids are these really top athletes who are very competitive and they're really good at what they do. But sometimes pressure is hard, and like I yell and their dad yells. We're divorced. They've gone through a trauma. You know, their parents split up, their mother is mentally ill, you know, like I cry, like I have volatile moods, like they go through stuff. But I had a friend tell me recently, you know, I want to make sure that I'm giving my child every emotional resource they need. And I feel like that's my job with the boys, is they know that I always love them and that they are great exactly how they are, you know, and they don't have to be anything for me, that they need to be who they are for them.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so that's
fantastic.
what I would tell that little girl, because she did not know that.
You know, since you've been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and you've been able to look back in the past and say, oh, you know, you said that you feel some shame and regret about the emotional volatility. How have you addressed it with your kids? Have you apologized and said, you know, in the past, I didn't.
Yes,
I
have.
tried to be.
I have.
What did you say to them?
I told. I had a very specific conversation with my older son and said, I want you to know that those times that I yelled and screamed and got mad and was really volatile and you were scared, that wasn't okay. And I will do everything in my power for that not to ever happen again, but I'm working on it. It's really hard for me because I have some issues and I don't have the resources sometimes to stop myself, but no matter whatever happens, I love you and it's not your fault. It's not ever, ever, ever your fault.
And how do you think he took it in?
He understood that. My younger son, I've had different conversations with him because he has the same volatility as I do. So I've had to just say to him, I've had to just help him learn how to get past a moment without making it worse.
I see.
So we have a different kind of connection where I say, okay, you know, I know how you feel right now and I'm sorry. And you're entitled to how you feel, but please don't take it out on us. You know?
That's beautiful.
I'm trying.
You know, I can't imagine the number of difficult conversations parents have to have.
It's, you know, it's the best. It's the best. It's the best part of my life is parenting. Those kids are incredible. It is just definitely the best part of life, but it's also the most challenging because I feel so responsible. Even more now. Like I feel such a responsibility for being the best person I can be for them.
So going back to your childhood, where was your mom in all this?
My mom was really young and amazing. She was a very, very strong, driven, loving, directed, open-minded, maternal, sweet. I mean, I worship my mother. I worship her. She also, however, had her own flaws. You know, she was, again, very young. She was very caught up in how she looked and had a lot of body image issues. And, you know, I took on a lot of that. She constantly wanted me to be on a diet and was always focused on my body. And that so I'm very, 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 very self-conscious. And
I can't imagine between your father sexually abusing you and the babysitter and your mom objectifying you in her own way.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how much anxiety you must have about your physical body.
I can't remember a time where I didn't feel just absolute, complete, shame about my body.
What are the thoughts that you think about your body?
Fat, ugly. I mean, it takes a lot for me to not be in that place. Fat, ugly, that's it. And I had a breast reduction because my boobs were really, really lopsided and big, and men always looked at them, and it made me sick. I just couldn't, like, it was just... So when I was like 20, I was complaining about it, and my mom said, if you want to get surgery, I will pay for you to get surgery. So I did.
That was nice.
Yeah.
And did you feel better afterwards?
I did. Oh, I felt a lot better. I really was thankful to her for it. So to continue answering about my mom, she's the one that got us away from my dad. She obviously was saying that he was a bad person. And my brother and I were recently talking. We feel like our father was Charles Manson. That's how it feels like. Anyway, so she left Charles Manson luckily, and surrounded us with very, very loving grandparents and family. But also they had this religious background where they had, by the time we moved in, they had started coming away from religion, but they still had this religious sense of secrecy and need to show only the good, because if you're good, you go to heaven, and if you're bad, you go to hell.
It's very black and white.
Very black and white. So they had to hide everything. So everything's swept under the rug, and things were brought to the family's attention that apparently they just never acted on. And I know that my dad's side of the family actively hid accusations that were made against him above and beyond anything that happened to me.
It's like a moment to reflect, because it's a lot. Now, first of all, why are people laughing? If her mom is so strong, why didn't she go to her mom and tell her mom about the babysitter that was bumping uglies, and tell her mom to do something about it? Why are you laughing about at weird times? If this is so serious, I don't think it's a laughing matter, but they're making it a laughing matter. So I don't understand what's laughing matter about it. Because if you were to see this on, like, I don't know, Oprah, Dr. Phil, the audience would have tissues crying. They're laughing. Explain that psyche for me. Go ahead. Now, Debris attacked my father. Now I understand why. Not all fathers are like your dad. Not all males are like your father. Defaming my family and my dad, and being envious and jealous of me being able to control my actual own life and be proud of who I am and what I do. This was 2015. You said you changed and you realized stuff and boundaries and this, that, and the other. It's all your words. But your actions do not align with your words. And in fact, it's 5 years later, 5.5 years later. This is appalling. This is disgusting. But this is the truth. And it's not my words. It's a public podcast. I guess that's why I found the juror 4. I guess that's why I find a lot of things. And I guess that's why people can come to me with things. And then I will double check to make sure that everything meets its criteria of being correct and factual. You laugh while you're talking about stuff like this. You make it a joke. There's a reason that there's so many heads on my thumbnail, because there's so many debrises. What debris do we have today? What debris do we have tomorrow? What debris do we have in 10 minutes? But I'll be damned because I actually have friends and family that suffer from mental illness. Mental illness does not give you a pass. Sorry. You are still held accountable for your actions with or without mental illness. I didn't even know you. You didn't know me. You attacked me, my family, and my business entities. I have proof that you used a contact at Google to illegally take down a video of mine, of which I'm pursuing you now and Google, as well as YouTube. And trust me, they're on my side about it. So I can't thank you enough for running your mouth. There is no place for a channel like that to be on YouTube and her to think that YouTube is her diary, YouTube is her therapy. Poor me, pity me, pity. I don't pity people. I have empathy for people. I am compassionate. But this you speak about publicly in 2015, and then to see where you were at in 2021, project your shit on someone else. These people that are letting this woman go on their panels, reckless, irresponsible, pathetic. Debris is discrediting Debris. There is nothing healed about this person. This person isn't healed or in therapy or doing a lot better than she was in 2015. Hell, how was she in 2010? Because she thinks she's healed in 2015. You making alt accounts, numerous alt accounts, acting like you are Nina, putting a picture that resembles what Nina LinkedIn picture looked like. You are so fucking miserable that you try to make other people's lives like your own. And you know what? Weak people would run because that's what they do. I'm not weak and I'm not running. And in fact, I'm going to end your term on YouTube. And I'm going to do it with class and with grace and with facts. And the favor that you pulled at Google, that's all traceable, sweetheart. And it's against company policy. So that person that helped you out,
lots of things happen. I mean, and
Other people he abused.
Yes, other people he abused, and the depths of his deprivation are limitless. He's just a psychopath. He takes people's identities and gets credit off of them, and he ruined all of our credit, and we had to recover from all of it. And
Is he still alive?
He is still alive.
Is he free?
He is. Statute of limitations. I'm over 40 years old, and I didn't do anything before that, and I regret that. I really do.
Do you regret it because you feel like you went on to hurt other people, or because you didn't get your own justice, or both? Yeah,
both. I was just denying the effects, the effect that it was having on me and my life and my loved ones, and
you're still living in denial today. I'm not the one. You're the one. You used trigger earlier in your statements of what triggers you. And never once did you use the word panties as a trigger. You're making that shit up now, and it's disgusting. Your triggers, like you said here, is what triggers you. You not being good enough. You not being liked by everybody. These are your triggers.
Denying, doing what the family had done for all the decades before, is just covering it up.
One of the things you said to me when we had coffee one day.
You lied. And everything that you told the world on YouTube was about your own dad. You told the world about your own experience with your dad, and that your dad was a pimp, and that your dad sent pictures around of people and all these things. Not me. I'm not your daddy. And take your fucking daddy issues the fuck up out of here.
As you said, my father would probably be open to being interviewed because he's so shameless about.
Not only that, but I think he actually really he kind of gets off on the whole situation. He'll be, and you can air all of this. He'll be terrified.
And you can air all of this. Debriss's own words, folks. So anybody's in chat right now having some issues, keep having them.
Of being exposed, but oh my gosh, she's getting some attention. He'll be very angry at me. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting myself in some. I don't know.
Isn't family trauma fun?
Yeah.
Isn't family trauma fun? Laughing. Just the repetitive laughing. Like, this is sick. This is sick. And any words that this woman writes, right here, guys. Cuckoo. Sender.
I mean, yeah. I feel strong. I feel like I'm a strong person. I will get through this. It's just another part of the journey, But it's just like, it's kind of weird to be my age and be like just coming to some of these realizations.
It can be a little shame-inducing.
Yeah.
There's things that I've dealt with starting in my late 40s where I'm like, how are you just
right
seeing the truth of this now? Are you dumb? But don't you think that's more just the nature of how we try to hide trauma from ourselves?
I guess, yeah. I'm just learning more about it now. I mean, like you, I've been in therapy for a long time, but I haven't been in therapy. I've started a therapy more recently that's very specifically about this trauma and correcting my specific behavioral responses to it. And
what are you learning?
So great. I haven't started the skills training yet, but have you heard of DBT?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dialectical behavior training. Therapy.
Yeah.
And it's started by Marsha Linehan,
yes.
who is the foremost expert on borderline personality disorder, and came out.
I can't wait to write this woman and let her know what a fine example that her therapy and her ways, and this is what it's producing on YouTube. Just for you, Debriss.
A couple of years ago, and revealed that she indeed has it.
Yes, and she's the one that said that people with borderline personality disorder are like burn victims inside, and just they don't have the capacity to shield themselves from feeling, and everything feels like
And so a lot of coping skills, ways to share what you're feeling with somebody else.
Yeah. So what you learn, and I've started the therapy piece, but I haven't started the actual skills training piece. But what you learn are interpersonal skills, like interpersonal effectiveness, ability to handle triggers in the moment, ability to handle a crisis situation without making it worse.
Give me an example.
An example is, sometimes when I'm feeling stressed out, like when I have a lot on my plate, I get very jumpy. Very, very, very jumpy.
Do your loud noise will freak you out and piss you off?
Yeah, that's the worst part. I get pissed off. I get angry that it happened, like that the person who made that noise dared to do it at that moment. And
so it's almost like they're poking the burn.
Yeah, and and they know it, and how dare they do it. So it's about, like when a person accidentally startles me when I'm in that space, before I react at them, just take a deep breath and sit back and look at the situation and know that it's going to be okay and that I don't have to react on them. And there's more skills that I like. There's breathing.
What does it feel like when you do that, though? Does it feel like you're falling on a grenade?
It is so weird for me. Like, there are just certain things that happen that when it happens, I think I'm going to die for about a split second. Like, it is as if, and then I get so angry that the person perpetrated that on me.
Is it because you feel that adrenaline rush, but because you're not releasing it out, it's like it's still banging around inside your body?
Yeah, and I'm like I want to scream, but yes. I know that it's a overreaction, so I don't. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I don't and I can't control that. I get that the anger follows the startling, and so what I'm learning to do is just, when it happens, instead of going out of my head, staying grounded and in the moment, knowing that I'm in a room, that I'm not wherever else I think I am at that moment. I'm not sure where I'm transported to, but for a moment I'm like out of my head and just wanting to die when that happens. It's really weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there also a component in dealing with it where you have to remind yourself that it's not personal, that loud noise wasn't done at you?
Yes. And so that actually recently happened with my partner. He was like playing with his dog, and his dog was running around near my feet, and he played with her such that she kind of jumped, and then she banged into my feet, and I was like really intently writing something and focused and stressed out, and it scared me, and I looked up and I go and I went, and I saw, and he was just standing there smiling like, oh sorry, and I was like, and I had to remind myself that he didn't. At first, I was mad at him, but then I had to remind myself he didn't intend to startle me. It was very innocent. So it's that kind of thing. I have to, that's a little tiny example.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an amazing thing she created. The DBT.
Yeah, it is pretty.
I mean, that's a life preserver.
Yeah. It is. Like, and that, I mean, I haven't even begun to really start to apply it. It's learning, distress tolerance. It's learning how to cope in those situations when you think you're going to die. Yeah.
I mean, the relationship wreckage from untreated borderline personality disorder can be so profound, profound, which then drives the feelings of abandonment and loneliness even deeper.
Right.
So it seems like it would be this cycle that feeds on itself if left unmanaged.
Not only that, I feel like it's even worse than that, because really what borderline personality disorder is just a very severe case of PTSD. A very complex PTSD, and that is the like.
So now she's self-diagnosing herself. She's telling the world what she believes. I mean, I just fucking can't. I fucking cannot right now. This is why I didn't go live yesterday, by the way. I am fucking dead right now. When is this shit? This is unbelievable. But it's not. Because if you've been paying attention to this woman and her debris everywhere, she's a head case and she needs fucking help. And YouTube is not the answer. Ruining other people's lives or attempting to is not the answer. She needs padded rooms and she needs it now.
The like marquee symptom of PTSD is just this hypervigilance, this like constant like, and the longer you go not treating it, every time you traumatize yourself again, it creates a more impactful response, and it creates more damage, and it creates more of a stress, like the cortisol in your system. People with borderline and with PTSD
Amen.
have higher rates of cortisol, which is actually not a good thing to be running on at a very high degree on a regular basis, but it's just always there because it was set at that stage when we were little.
Yeah. My car runs on cortisol, but I get terrific mileage.
Well, they have the technology is just amazing, like Elon Musk is doing amazing things with cortisol these days.
Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about? Did you bring any fears or loves?
I did start to think about those, and yes, I will give you some fears and loves.
I'm really glad that you decided to re-record, because this has been such a fruitful conversation about BPD.
You did ask me if I would bring like the DSM definition and then give examples, and I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because I do have that. Hold on just a moment.
I have a terrible memory.
Yeah, no. Me too. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I have a terrible memory.
All right, so I'm going to read first a personality disorder, just to kind of set the context, because personality disorders are different from just regular mental illness.
Yes, and personality disorders you can't necessarily treat with meds.
Right, because depression is a symptom of a personality disorder.
How do you treat it?
Or anxiety is a symptom of a personality disorder, and the meds treat that, not necessarily the personality disorder.
Right.
Which is why you need therapy to go along with whatever meds you might be taking for the personality disorder. So,
but that's not necessarily say if you have depression, you also have a personality disorder.
Correct. But it can cause that. Right. I hope that makes sense.
I think so.
At least that's what I've learned. A personality disorder, according to the DSM, is a type of mental illness in which you have a rigid and an unhealthy pattern of thinking, functioning, and behaving. A person with a personality disorder has trouble perceiving and relating to situations and to people. This causes significant problems and limitations in relationships, social encounters, work, and school. In some cases, you may not realize that you have a personality disorder because your way of thinking and behaving seems natural to you, as you may blame others for the challenges you face, Personality disorders usually begin in the teenage years or in early adulthood. There are many types of personality disorders, and some types may become less obvious through middle age. So, borderline personality disorder. The official definition is BPD is a pervasive pattern of instability in interpersonal relationships.
Instability in personal relationships. I don't know this person. I've never met this person. Why me?
self-image and emotion, as well as a marked impulsivity beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts as indicated by 5 or more of the following. So there are 9 of these, and if you have 5 or more. So the first one is frantic efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment. So that's the fear of abandonment. And I basically defined my entire identity all of my life so that I wouldn't be abandoned. So that's check. A pattern, number 2, a pattern of unstable and intense interpersonal relationships.
Just back up for 1 second. Would be to be rejected professionally. That would be considered an abandonment that you would be trying to.
Oh, totally.
So, I mean, a person without a disorder would try to avoid rejection.
So here we go. Number 1, this is what I think happened to Debris. I think that she reached out to the Watts family. The Watts family never acknowledged her reach out. And this was at the same time of, obviously, my extensive work with them back in the day. So if they didn't reach out back to them, that would be a sign of rejection. Again, not me. I'm not the one. If you attempted to reach out to Kim, and if you thought you were going to get an email back from Kim, again, I have nothing to do with that. And she wasn't going to email you back regardless. But where the rejection would come in, it has nothing to do with me. That woman never messaged me, never knew her. But if she messaged the Watts and they didn't get back to her, that would be the rejection.
But the length and the intensity with which somebody with this disorder would try
to
not
avoid it. Yes.
To avoid it.
Avoiding abandonment, and then when the abandonment happens, the feelings around the abandonment, and taking it so personally and thinking that I'm so bad that it's all my fault and I need to change in order to be acceptable.
No, I have no idea if she reached out to the Watts. The only thing that I'm thinking of that's remotely possible to make her feel some type of way towards me would be that.
By these people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the intensity of things is very much a hallmark of borderline personality disorder.
The intensity is very intense.
Yeah. Okay.
We're very intense people. It's exhausting for others. A pattern of unstable and intense interpersonal relationships characterized by extremes between idealization and devaluation, also known as splitting. So this is, have you experienced this? Where I think we've talked about
somebody's your hero or they're the worst piece of shit under your heel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I was just telling somebody the other day, I have a fuck you line. And that's basically it. That's my fuck you line. It's like, I have a very high tolerance level, but then I don't know where that fuck you line is. When you cross that fuck you line, it's like, fuck you. And I don't want that. I don't want that to be there, but it is there.
Okay.
And so that's I would call that.
I'm kind of tempted to see where it is, just how.
Where's the fuck you line?
Unplug my.
Where is the fuck you line? I want to know where the fuck you line is.
Laptop and throw it out the window. There's no windows in. We're in a closet.
There's too much padding in here.
Yeah. You think it's for the sound?
I know.
So my laptop doesn't get hurt.
That's curiously right next to my head right here. Okay, the third one is identity disturbance. Markedly or persistently unstable self-image or sense of self. I mean, I think almost everything I said up to now has shown that I had a very, I have 5 different identities on any given day.
I'm done.
I even wrote a poem.
What?
That before
5 different identities on one day.
Called Reconcile Me.
I can't.
And if you want, I will read it. But this is my kind of 2 years before I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. I wrote this. Do you want to hear it? Sure. It's relatively short.
Thank God.
Okay, reconcile.
That's not a reflection on you. Yeah. That's a reflection on poetry.
And I'm not going to say it's good. Yeah, it's not. I'm not going to say it's good. I am not a poet.
As long as it's telling, that's all.
We'll see. Okay. All right. Reconcile me. You see me in the meeting. I laugh. I lead. I engage. I succeed. I stimulate. I attract. I inspire. I connect.
Oh, hold on!
I endear.
Wait, hold on. We cannot miss this. Hold on, I gotta hear this. I had to step away for a minute. Okay, guys. What a fucking mess. Okay. You guys, this is Debris. Come on. I'm not gonna repeat myself. Look at the thumbnail. Don't cross my fuck you line either. Mm. You guys. Okay. I just needed a minute. Let's proceed. Here we go. Ready? This is everything. I don't know who's worse though, the interviewer or the interviewee.
I grow, I am clear, I impress you, and I am me. You see me in my skin. I cry, I worry, I wallow, I deny, I envy, I rage, I wish, I comply, I crave, I crumble, I break, and I die. Someday I will reconcile me.
That's fucking great. It's great, Lynn.
That came out of me one day.
I bet you that there are people listening to this right now that have tears running down their face because they just heard their life described in that poem.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to me.
And I hate poetry.
I do too, but it just fucking came out of me. It's
You know what? I hate most poetry, but when I hear a good poem, I'm like, oh, poetry can be awesome.
It can be. Yeah. It's so anyway, that's my proof that I have a marked sense of lack of identity. Okay. The next one is impulsive behavior in at least 2 areas that are potentially self-damaging. Spending, sex, substance abuse, reckless driving, binge eating. Check. It's done.
Yeah. Are any of those still in an area that you feel is out of control, or most of those?
Oh my god!
In a
those
manageable
are all
form.
They are all manageable. Every single one of them is manageable.
And how many of them do you feel like you need to go to support groups for?
None. But
Okay.
I feel like my symptoms are getting really, really well managed. It's more about my feelings. My feelings.
Oh, for fuck's sake, no! Yeah. I just can't do this every day. I just can't. Oh my god. I really think that. Just my feelings.
Still the hardest part because I'm not real honest with myself all the time.
So food is not something that you. As you were reading the list, I was thinking to myself, if I had all of those, and I probably do.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't have all of them. Food would, to me, seems like that would be the one that would be the easiest to reach for.
Food is the hardest for me to not be disordered about. That is the truth, okay. For sure.
Talk about that a little bit.
So when I get stressed out, when I get to a place where I feel powerless and hurt, like somebody like it felt like somebody went fuck you to me, and I want to go fuck you to them. I go to the store and I buy vanilla chocolate chip Haagen-Dazs, and I
No, the fuck you don't. You get on fucking YouTube and you go ape shit. The fuck? You don't go get Haagen-Dazs ice cream. It's a lie. Okay, well, maybe if you used to, can you go back to that? Because that was just way better. Now you just go on YouTube and you lie.
I like at least 2 or 3 different types of cake, and I eat it all, and it feels good.
The entire pint.
Yep. Oh yeah, the entire pint.
And cake.
And cake.
Do you eat to the point where it hurts?
Sometimes and sometimes not.
What is the emotional goal? What is the, like for alcoholics or addicts, when the buzz gets good and there's like euphoria that comes. Is there a euphoria in that food? Or
What's weird? I don't. What? I think the euphoria is more in just the action of thinking about it and
driving there.
Yeah,
walking down the aisle.
And it's
what
like,
flavor am I going to get?
It's like the activity of it. It's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, and then, but by the time I've purchased what I've purchased and I'm eating it, I'm already thinking about how I'm going to go back on Whole30 the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And there's not purging involved.
Not anymore. No. God, okay. Thank God. No.
I used to get almost as much euphoria driving home from the dealer's house as I would from getting high.
Yeah.
And
it's all this, thinking about, okay, I'm going to go home and then I'm going to take a shower and I'm going to blow dry my hair and then I'm going to sit down, I'm going to put on some candles and I'm going to eat my ice cream. You know what I mean? Like, there's like this.
Get the fuck out of here! No! I am doing that tonight, y'all! The fuck I'm not! I'm gonna go get some candles. I'm gonna get some ice cream. I'm dead.
That's to it. But I don't do it enough now to where I feel like I need to purge, and when I do, and I don't ever want to go back to.
Does that fuck with your digestion to do? I mean, I would shit myself if I ate an entire pint of that and a bunch of cake. I would just be. That would fuck with my digestion so bad.
Oh, yeah, well, see, that's it. So what I have learned is that ice cream does not agree with me. I can't eat ice cream and not feel good and feel good the next day. So yeah, I know when I'm making that choice to eat that shit that I'm going to feel like shit the next day. And I went through a whole I don't know if you've ever heard of Whole30, but it's a kind of paleo based like cleanse program where you basically eliminate a bunch of stuff for 30 days and like get completely clean and like your body becomes a machine. And I did that and I loved it. And I want to get back on that, but I feel like I keep running into these emotional obstacles where I find myself eating ice cream again. So I tend to gain like 10 pounds around the holidays. Holidays are tough, man.
They are tough. There's so many triggers.
Yeah. My mom's birthday was on Thanksgiving, and she died a couple of years ago. So, wah, wah, wah. Pity, pity, pity. All right. Wait. Well, there's more. Okay.
You just minimized your mom's death. It was awesome. Wouldn't the holidays be better if all of the carols were about triggers?
On the fourth day Christmas, I don't know. My daddy came to me. My daddy gave to me.
I can see the wheels turning in your head, and I'm not gonna.
I think I might have just connected something though. There were a few years that the only time my dad would see us was around the holidays. And like he would take us for Christmas, and every time he took us, he abused me. So I think.
What do you feel when Christmas rolls around?
I feel sadness. I feel a lot of sadness when Christmas rolls around. Yeah.
Yeah, I always feel like
Let me say something right now. That's just really good ice cream. It's nice and cold. It's just dripping down my throat. This was filmed or broadcast on December 18th, 2015. You guys are gonna shit when I tell you this. Obviously, it's 7 days before Christmas. 7 days before Christmas. This December 18th, 2015 is my son's birthday. What? Oh my God. Anyways.
Man, like, am I dead inside? Because I dread this.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's like, yeah. There's a couple more of the just descriptions of the
yes.
symptoms.
Nobody can get off track like me. Lynn.
Yeah. Or me. I'm right here to help you and
right.
enable you. All right. Impulsive.
It's not personal information I'm sharing. My son's birthday isn't personal. My son's birthday is the best fucking day of my fucking life. And you're goddamn right I'm proud of his fucking birthday. Keep being thirsty. And in fact, Mod Squad, Mimi, bye-bye. Let Aliquippa know what's up. Oh, wait, that's right. You haven't run a long time.
Behavior. Oh, we talked about that. That's where we left.
Yeah, the five impulse.
Yes. Mama 3. The thirst is real.
Yeah. And then the next one is recurrent suicidal behavior, gestures, or threats, or self-harming.
Would self-sabotage be considered one of those? Like,
yes, absolutely, self-harming behavior, or indirectly or directly. So, just alcoholism, drug abuse, cutting. I was not. I've never been very suicidal, and especially after kids, I have never really considered suicide after kids. But I definitely have self-harmed in many ways. Like, I used to have this habit of scratching my entire...
So let's go and bully other people and try to get them to self-harm themselves, because that is what therapy would teach you. I mean, I wonder how her therapist feels about her YouTube channel and the YouTube panels that she goes on. I wonder if that's why she's not using her own channel to make up these panels. Disgusting. Disgust.
Scalp and having all these
there you go.
Sores.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot more common than I realized at the time. And like hair, I would avoid getting my hair cut for a long time because I didn't want hairdressers.
I read about that a lot in surveys.
Really?
Trichotillomania, dermatillomania, skin picking, hair picking, hair pulling. Yeah.
Next one is emotional instability.
Wait, did she just say she has an issue scratching herself, hair pulling, skin pulling? Funny. That's what she says about me. Everything is just a deflection, Lynn. I am not you. You will never be me. Ever be me. But now we know the real Lynn.
In reaction to day-to-day events. I mean, check. Yes, check. And then chronic feelings of emptiness, we've talked about.
Double check.
Inappropriate, intense anger, or difficulty controlling anger. This is a symptom that actually brought me to therapy. Because
Thank
God!
As I got older, we found the one!
My anger and my outbursts, and I was like, what the fuck is going on with me? I'm so weird, so. Transient stress-related paranoid ideation or severe dissociative symptoms. I never knew that one. I could have a whole show on this. I'm pretty. When I'm stressed, I'm very dissociative. I'm like not even there. It's really. So I have to keep my stress down.
Get off YouTube.
When I worked at Apple, this symptom was at its worst because I was in constant stress there.
Were you working with Steve Jobs there, or?
I did work with him and interacted with him, but I did not report to him directly. I reported to somebody who reported to him.
Okay.
And it's just Apple's just a very intense atmosphere.
I can't imagine.
Regardless of who you work with, whether or not you worked directly with Steve.
And as I said on your podcast, I love the irony that his abusiveness helped get iTunes out earlier, which created the ability for me to do a podcast to talk about how to heal from being around abusive people.
That's right.
It all comes full circle.
I also worked at the company. Did you know that Twitter started out as a podcast platform called Odeo?
No.
Yeah. So Ev Williams had a company called Odeo, and they were developing this podcast platform, and then boom, all of a sudden iTunes comes in and says, we're going to do podcasts now.
Oh my
and it put them out of business. So all the founders and the original people at Twitter needed to go pivot, and they came up with Twitter. Yep, I worked there for like 6 months.
Wow.
Anyway,
so was that it for the
that was it. That was it.
Do you want to give me some fears and loves? Did you bring any, or you just want to think of a couple off the top?
I'll think of a couple off the top.
Okay, give me a fear.
I fear that I will unknowingly transfer mental illness onto my kids.
I fear that I came across creepy in asking you to talk about the babysitter thing.
Yes, you did, and you did. Look at how he recognized that, though. His podcast is working for him. Here we go.
Because it's something that I find interesting, and I judge myself for it because I think that makes me pervy.
I fear that when I tell you that you don't have to feel that way, that you won't believe me. That I didn't think of you as pervy.
It's not the kind of deep intention
I gotta
used to feel when I first started.
I understand. See, I know. I totally understand where you're coming from, because it's anything related to that topic invokes shame.
It does.
It's just like there. It's always there.
It's always there. And if it's not shame, it's second guessing the shit out of myself.
Yeah, second guessing. I don't know how to do this. I shouldn't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm going to do it anyway. Oh my God, I shouldn't have done it. I did. Yeah. I did it. Okay.
Give me another fear.
I fear that I will get really, really, really fat and not know how to lose weight.
What I meant.
I have a fear that I have sleep apnea, and that I'm going to have a heart attack because of it. Somebody just over Thanksgiving dinner was like, "Oh, you might have sleep apnea, and you know that that raises your risk of having a heart attack."
And you're like, thanks, get the fuck out of here.
I think I'm gonna go see a doctor about it.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you a love now.
All right.
Because I feel like I've given so much of my fears that it's getting boring. My fears. Okay. I just love my kids and their incredible confidence. Their confidence, like they can do anything. I love that about my kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Here's one for the holidays. I love Ben and Jerry's Festivus ice cream. Have you ever had it?
No. What is it?
It's the greatest. I think it's like pumpkin, cinnamon, there's some third thing, maybe caramel. It's the greatest ice cream flavor ever. It's I should have known what the ingredients were in it before I brought it up, but if you Google it, it's a seasonal thing. I don't know if they even make it anymore, but if you're in the grocery store and you see that they have Festivus, it's got gingerbread cookies.
Oh, Festivus.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm gonna go right now.
It's so good.
You triggered me.
We're bad. We're bad for each other. Give me love.
I love laughing deeply.
I love spending time with another survivor and laughing about dark shit. It's so healing. It's so healing to me. And even not even necessarily your survivor, just somebody who's struggling.
Right.
Somebody who's struggling.
Right, and laughing at the dark
And
shit.
laughing about
it. I have laughed so many times listening to your podcast recently. It's like I want to, every time I hear something you say, I want to say it to you. I'm like, oh, I have to say that to him too, and I have to say that to him too, but I can never say it to you all. Oh well. Thank you for this. I love this is my last love. I love this podcast. Thank you very much.
Well, how can I not end on that one? It has to do with me.
Exactly.
Actually, it has to do with all you guys and all my guests and all the listeners. But I so enjoyed this, Lynn. I so enjoyed this, and I can't wait to air this episode because I know there's a lot of people out there that don't understand borderline personality disorder, and I feel like our conversation.
And I still feel like I don't understand. So thank you.
Shed so much light and so much heart on a really complicated subject. So,
thank you. I hope so.
Yeah. And your podcast is called Tech Cares.
Tech Cares.
And is there a website for it?
Yes, techcares.us.
.us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Techcares.us.
And they can find it on iTunes?
On iTunes and yes, iTunes and at the website, techcares.us.
Okay. Thanks, Lynn. Many thanks to Lynn. Hey, let's give some love to our sponsor this week, Howl FM. If you guys haven't heard of Howl FM, it's a
now. One hour and 13 minutes and 9 seconds of pure fucking amazingness. Let's give some shout outs. First of all, let's take any questions from the audience. Do you guys have any questions that you would like to I don't know if I have the answers. But I'll try. Yeah, who was the guy? The guy's name is Mark. He runs a mental illness happy hour podcast where they clearly think that this is all fun and games. We're never going to get back this hour, but hopefully it prevents us from wasting other hours in the near future. That was horrifying. Absolutely right. It was horrifying. A happy hour podcast is mental illness happy hour podcast. You have to get it all in its entirety there. Lynn did 2 episodes with them and wanted to call Mark back to see if he would do another one because she had diagnosed herself, or she realized that they diagnosed her as the BPD. So this woman who has unsuccessfully she has sent out emails, made numerous phone calls. This is why the Attorney General of Ohio literally, I think probably laughs when she calls. This is the woman who's behind it. This is the woman who's behind trying to defame me, my family, and my business entities. This is her. This is her in 2015, and this is still her today. I'm hopeful to have Mark himself on my channel. Where he can fill us in on things if he would like to. And this episode is 100% dedicated to Nina, Vivanina, Mod Squad, and Kennedy. How do I want to word this? Everybody that's my friend is very compassionate, is very empathetic to people, and always tries to see the good in people, to the point that anytime you are that type of person, people could try to take advantage of you. And that is what, will always happen. You just, when something happens like that, once you see it and you recognize it, you address it, and then you let Lana, your best friend, come in and fucking squash it. Mod Squad asked me, what was it? Maybe like a week or two ago, throw off the gloves, Lana. Stop this person from doing this. This is crazy. Like lie about my businesses, about my family. And Christmas came early, Lynn. And so Christmas in July, and you get triggered around Christmas. So you're welcome. Truth be told, I've been saying it, that this person's crazy, that this person's lying, this person's unhinged, and this person flat out has been defaming myself and others. Most importantly, though, what I'm trying to accomplish. And so therefore, I am putting an end to it. And if people out there need to hear for themselves to see what a true human being we're dealing with. Because after all, don't you support people's channels and themselves because of who they are? Heard it for an hour and 13 minutes of her own mouth, what she does, what she's all about. And she most certainly manipulates people, manipulates situations. She has this mental illness that she is not clearly dealing with remotely with professionals. She's using YouTube, and then she's just simply being triggered by God knows what. It's not my problem, but it becomes I will do a solution to her problem because she's bleeding over into my positivity. So it's disgusting. My dad is awesome. My dad's amazing. And I don't give a fuck what her daddy has done to her, but she can keep my fucking dad's name out of her fucking sick, twisted mouth. This isn't defamation of character. This is called fucking reality. 1 hour and 13 minutes of pure reality. And if you want to listen to Debris and her panels, and if these people want to allow Debris on their panels, then I could care less anymore, because this is the most discredited human being out of her own fucking mouth that you will ever see. And think it's a perfect name for her. If she loves to be a mom so much, go be a fucking mom. YouTube, just because you were fucked with as a kid and shit happened to you, doesn't give you a right to be able to then do whatever you want and blame it on your childhood trauma. No, it doesn't, and it won't. And YouTube will always trigger somebody like that. Because everybody on YouTube, Lynn, will always be better than you. That's fact. But just because of your personal ways. You'll never think that you're good enough because you said it yourself. You always self-doubt. But she's oh so quick to just fire back a comment. She doesn't think before she talks. She fires away. And you, Natasha Cooper, try to make it seem like Nina was part of your fucking sick ass shit. Nina may be manic with me at times during the DMs, and she knows that. We've had our conversations about that. But I'm not going to let somebody that didn't do something take the fall for your fucking shit. Over. End. And I don't think Google and YouTube are going to be too happy with what you've done and what you've gotten one of their employees to do. And that's going to be my icing on the cake. Love you. Love my dad. Yeah. It's disgusting that there's actually victims out there that do not behave like you. Your channel is nothing but drama. You are nothing but drama. You don't ever talk about true crime. You don't even know true crime. You didn't even know what condition you had, your own words. Nothing triggered you, Debris, other than my success and your lack thereof when it comes to cases and it comes to, I guess, people trusting you or whatever. You run your mouth. You dish it out. Now fucking take it. Because that's all that I just did right here. You run your mouth. Now you can take it. This is straight up your words being reminded to you and to the rest of the world. You clearly have not changed whatsoever since 2015. And in fact, you've progressed in your display of human shit. No wonder why you go on the panels that you do. Because feces, they shit feeds off shit. Keep on with the shit. Keep on with your shit elsewhere. But now everybody will know you for the real you. Miss Dox yourself. Debris. No, actually, Debris is actually on vacation right now. So she's not going to need a vacation from this. She's definitely on vacation. And now she gets to enjoy her vacation being fucking ruined like you tried to do to mine on Memorial Day. Cheers. Yes, she is on vacation. There it is. I think she should show her sons this latest episode. One of her sons see her shit. Love you all. Debris needs help, professional help. Yeah. She's going to need it now more than ever. So. Yeah, it's happening. Like, stuff just doesn't happen overnight, guys. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't. As much as we like to think that it does happen overnight, but it's definitely in the process. So my mod bod squads, love you guys. Just bring in the receipts. This is the lifetime original receipt of a lifetime. You want to lie? You want to run your mouth about me? Sounds good. You want to lie? Run your mouth about my good friends that mod my family and my business entities? No. I'm here to help people not be a piece of shit like some other people. So, and I'm accomplishing that. I just want to know where the fuck you line is. Because I want to be the first one in line. Fuck you back. Now, I will close out my episode with some thank yous. It's been a minute, guys. It's been a minute. Aunt Lala, are you at home? I don't know if Aunt Lala's home. If she's home, come on, work. Yes. Sorry, just getting ready for my thank yous. No, you're not. Dear Debris, today was amazing. Even though you were on vacation. Love, Lana. Let's get some more Debris going. Thank you. Here we go. It's been a minute, guys. Here we go. Dear Mark, I've never met you, but I'm so fucking thankful for this podcast you did 6 years ago. I will forever remember your pervy comments. They were my favorite. Love, Lana. Dear Debris, I'll never remember the ice cream that you said you eat when you're in your bathrobe and shower gel still dripping off of you. But I definitely will never remember or never forget today. Love, Lana. Dear Debris, I will miss our banter almost as much as my period. Love, Lana. Dear Debris, the way that you laugh had me flat on my back. Love, Lana. Dear Parker, welcome to my shoes. May every day be as blissful as this past 1 hour and 13 minutes. She's all yours. Love, Lana. Dear Natasha Cooper, your panels keep getting more and more discredited every day. But this shit takes the cake. Love, Lana. Dear Parker, please don't trigger Debris when in the bedroom. She may chop off your dick. Love, Lana. Dear Crafton and Kim, you may want to watch out for that wrench. Could cause self-harm. Love, Lana. Dear Crafton, if I didn't know any better, I thought that you were Mark 5 years ago. I'm sure Kim Coles might be jealous of that relationship that you and Debris had. That pervy style. Dear Ice Cream Cone, I wish I could be a fly on the wall every time that Debris licked and devoured that cone right after that hot bath. Dear Debris, when I look at your face, I don't know which Debris I'm getting. That's why I put 10 of you on my thumbnail. Love, Lana. Oh, wait for it. It's going to be good. Dear Debris, I'm not sure what triggered you, but Shazam says it's going to be okay. Love, Shizzy. What? Dear Debris's mods, I hope you're ready for a fucking shitstorm. Clean up aisle 30. Love, Lana. Shizzy. Dear Mod Squad, I know that sometimes it's hard to imagine what goes through my mind and what Lana's going to bring on any given day. But thank you for the courage to light this fucking dumpster fire on fire. Love, Lana. Dear Ludovic Viviani, may you and Debris find everlasting scissoring orgasms from one G to another. Love, Shiz. Dear Mod Chat, thanks for that one time that autocorrect corrected her name. 5,000 plus Americans and non-Americans call her Debris because of autocorrect. What? Whew. All right, guys, I'm finishing them out. Dear Debriss's babysitter, Mark from Mental Illness Podcast wants your phone number. Love, Lana. Okay, Jesus. Okay, I gotta go. Oh God, I gotta go. Oh shiz. Oh my God. Love you guys. Be kind in chat, love. And as always, jam out with your clam out. We'll see you soon. Debris, it's been real. It's been fun. You're a sick son of a bitch, no doubt about it. You're sick. I really hope that you get the help you need. And I hope that this kind of just reminds you that you just can't be this way. You cannot deflect your past trauma on those that know nothing about you and want to know nothing about you. Stay in your lane and best of luck. Love you. Dear Boston, I fucking love you. Be safe, guys. Shiz. What a day. Behind the scenes. See you guys tomorrow.